Hello, and welcome to Thinking Thursday. It is our last Thinking Thursday for 2020. We're going to end a little early in the year, and I'll tell you about that in a minute. But first, I want to thank all of you who have been with me through this interesting year of 2020. It's been interesting for so many ways, for so many people, but thank you. Hopefully, being a part of and listening to Thinking Thursday has been beneficial to you and that you've gotten something out of it, that you've learned, you've grown, and hopefully shared with some others. So thank you for being with us. In 2022, we're making some changes. Now, they may not start right at the top of the year, but changes are coming. You know, we always want to change and grow and get better and better, and Thinking Thursday is no different. It's something I want us to do. I want to be able to bring even more content, even better content, even more exciting guests, and just do more things in 2022. In the beginning of the year, after a year of 2020, we started out saying it was going to be 2020 wonderful. And for some people it was, and for some people, well, we just made it through. Wonderful wasn't the way you might want to describe it. But I challenge you, whatever 2021 was for you, as we draw to an end, find something in it to celebrate. And that's much easier said than done. But as we talk tonight about managing your mood during the holidays and finding joy, you'll be challenged to see how you can find something wonderful in it. As always, we're going to start with some deep breathing. For those of you who it may be your first time, we do deep breathing to allow you to decompress from the day. Allow you to practice deep breathing, because as you're breathing in and breathing out, you're taking more oxygen to your brain, more oxygen running through your body, and it allows your body to relax. Something that we so often need. So I'm going to count you in 4 and out 4. And we're going to take 3 deep cleansing breaths. So let's breathe in, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4. In, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4. Lastly, in, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4. So hopefully it gave you a moment to just breathe. And I encourage you, whenever you're feeling a little stressed or life is a little too much, take some time to just breathe. It's good for you. It'll clear your mind. It'll put more oxygen flowing through your body. It will just make you feel good. Tonight, I wanted to, again, look at the holidays and holiday stress. And since it's the last one, as opposed to next week, I wanted to talk about something called seasonal affective disorder, better known as SAD. The reason I wanted to bring this up, it is a form of depression that occurs during this time of year, during the winter, not just because it's cold, but there's several reasons. So there are changes to the body's internal clock due to seasonal changes that happen. You think about it, it's dark earlier, so your biorhythms are different. And you also have reduced levels of serotonin in your brain, which is a chemical that's going to make you feel good, give you energy. It's reduced during this time of year. Also, there can be vitamin D deficiencies that are more prevalent in winter months because you're not outside, you're not getting as much sun. And even though we don't go out suntanning, when you go out, you're in the sun. It's just more, it's more opportunity for you to absorb that natural vitamin D from the sun. And it can also be caused by an imbalance in the chemical melatonin that influences our sleep and mood. So all of these can cause it. So this time of year, it's easy for any of us to, our mood to be affected. But for those when it's really severe, it could be a form of seasonal affective disorder. And I wanted to I'm going to tell you a little more about it. Just so if this is something you may have experienced and trying to figure out what is going on with me, I want you to know about it. After all, we're here to talk about that mental health. So what are some of the symptoms? As I said, it's very similar to symptoms to depression. It is a form of depression. Fatigue, a pervasive sad mood, loss of interest in things that you normally like to do. You're just blah. It can affect your sleeping. It can make you have difficulty sleeping at all or make you just oversleep. Craving more starches and sweets. You can have weight gain. You can have a feeling of hopelessness or despair. Even thoughts of suicide. If this is something that you have felt, it's like, oh yeah, that's how I feel in the winter. I always feel that way. Then maybe that's something you need to consider talking with your doctor about. Because if it happens one winter, okay. But the second winter it happens, time to talk to your doctor and say, hey, maybe I'm experiencing SAD, seasonal affective disorder. And if you are, you're not alone. They have a name for it, so you're not the first person or the last who will have to manage this. It is real, and I wanted to specifically bring that up. Now, there might be some certain risk factors. Family history or a close relative who has dealt with depression or sad. Women are more prone than men to experience this. Maybe you already have a personal history of depression or bipolar disorder. Then, man, that's another risk factor. Maybe you have another mood disorder that's associated with seasonal changes. That's another risk factor. But again, it's dealing with so many other things that it's not just, oh, it's dark early. No, it's all of these chemical things in your body. More than 3 million people are diagnosed in the U.S. alone with seasonal affective disorder. It is treatable. Some people end up actually taking medication to deal with it. Some do therapy, some do exercise, some do yoga. You find ways that some of the same treatments that you'd find for depression will work here. It can begin in the early fall, or late fall rather, and early winter, and may not go away until summer. It may persist for some people even through spring, kind of go away starting in spring, and by summer, it's gone. Fall, it comes up again. And we looked at those risks for how you would feel. So that is just a separate subset I wanted to make you aware of something that really could be something you experience, or maybe someone you know. And it's like, oh, wow, that's what's going on? I just thought I felt sad every winter. You don't have to. There is help for that. So that's a subset of just a mood disorder that can happen every winter for some people. And it's not a pleasant thing. I see lots of people online. I want to encourage you to share. Hit the share button so we can invite others into the conversation and share this information with others. We talked last week specifically about grief in the holidays, and tonight is just about managing the mood. And that's why I started with just explaining what seasonal affective disorder is, because that's a real specific subset, but it is real. During this time of year, people experience a lot of joy and a lot of sadness. It's truly joy and pain. And you might experience all of them in one day, within 1 hour, or at the same time. So let's look at why. We have these great expectations of the holidays. And we have, as I call it, the Hallmark myth, and it's not just Hallmark, but that represents the movie myth, the commercial myth, that everything is wonderful and everything is great. And there's the Christmas miracle and there's just all these wonderful things. And if you're not feeling them, it makes you feel even worse because it's like, oh, something's wrong with me. I'm just not in the holiday spirit. I've talked to a lot of people recently who are not. They are not feeling holiday-ish. They're feeling, are you going to, no, I'm not going to really celebrate this year, but I just don't feel like it. Well, 2022, we know, was a draining year. 2021, for many, was just an extension of 2020. The same challenges that you faced in 2020, you faced in 2021. Or the challenges increased. When I think about teachers and educators and parents who have children and have to manage the system, man, I can't help but bring that up. It's so incredibly challenging. I've talked to teachers who are just overly challenged this year by the school year, the demands of the school. You're getting everybody back who's been gone. Kids have been gone for a year and a half, and you expect them to just come and sit down and everything's just great and it's going to be business as usual. And then teachers are faced with, we have to catch them up for a year and we have to do all this. So the stress and strain is horrific for so many people. Just that stress. I have known more than one teacher who has been taken out of the school on a stretcher. 2 with a heart attack, 2 with strokes. And one was just had such a severe panic attack is what it turned out to be. So just that stress that we are dealing with. And so now it's the holidays and you've been stressed all year and you're supposed to just be happy. Well, that doesn't work. It doesn't fit. You're not just happy because it's the holidays. So what do you do? How do you get to a place where, okay, I want to be okay, but I'm not. And that is how so many people are. First off, you've got to learn to be kind to yourself. Set some new expectations. In the beginning, I said our topic is looking at the managing your mood and finding joy. And one way to manage that mood is to find joy. Now, it's very difficult right now for many people to find joy, either because things have happened, people who are dealing with a loss, or people who have been so stressed out. Now you want to just say, I'm going to find joy. Wow, that's hard. So we're going to look at how do you do that? Because it is a very powerful way to manage your mood. So just say, okay, you know what? I want joy in my life. And part of it is wanting it and saying, I'm going to make it happen. I am going to seek joy in my life to manage my mood. But maybe you're just overstressed. Let me throw a few scenarios out before I just make it sound like, oh, I'm just saying, oh, you just got to have joy. Maybe you're the person who just lost a loved one and you're still at a loss because you don't know what to do without them. Or maybe you realize you're overstressed because your Christmases are not what they've been in the past. Your holiday season is so different from what it has been that you have nothing to look forward to, nothing to anticipate, because everything you anticipated is not there. Maybe it's due to COVID, maybe it's due to something being gone, maybe your life has just changed, so your traditions aren't there. What do you do? Where is the joy in that? First off, let me talk about what is joy. Joy and happiness are not the same thing. See, joy is an attitude of your heart, and it's not based on external things. It is internal. It is just as much a decision as happiness. But it is internal. It is something inside of you that is separate from whatever you may be experiencing. Joy is part of that inner peace. The world can be crumbling around you. And you can be sad and depressed and still find a way to have that joy inside, where that's what saves you from that total hopelessness and helplessness. It is a way to say, okay, it's not all right. I don't see how it's going to be all right, but it will be all right. You know, as a Christian, I understand, for me, joy comes from God. It comes from my relationship with God. It's what I can hold on to when I can't see it, can't feel it, can't smell it, can't taste it, that things are going to work out. But internally knowing, oh yeah, I've got joy. Joy, and it doesn't mean that you feel good. You can have joy and still be sad. That sounds crazy, so let me explain it. As I said, joy is internal. It is not based on the situation that you're in. So your situation can be pretty dire. It can look bad. It can seem hopeless on the surface. But inside, you know it's not. You know God's going to see you through. And because of that, that's what you're holding on to. And you hold on tight to it until you get through. I always say, you know, through is not a destination. When you're going through something, it means it's a passageway. It's going to get you from point A to point B. And that joy says, I will get through this. So here are a few steps to finding joy. First off, find your purpose and your passion. Even in your moments of helplessness and hopelessness, what is your passion? What is your purpose? What makes you move from point A to point B? What gets you up in the morning? And see, when you're at your lowest, and we talked about maybe it's just a seasonal sad, or maybe it's depressed, you don't want to get up. Let's just face it. Getting up and moving out of bed can be very difficult. However, even when you're laying there, you think of, what is your purpose? And maybe it's not your grand purpose. Maybe, what is my purpose for today? For this one day, what can make me get out of bed? And part of that can be, what are you passionate about? What drives you? And your passion may have nothing to do with what you do to make a living. It may have nothing to do with anybody else. What just gives you joy? What makes you think, oh, I want to just go do this for fun? If it's just what do you do just for fun? Recently, I have started painting. Okay, I'm no artist. I love it though. Because it's fun. It's tapping into my creative source. And then to try different things to do with paint and canvas. Find something that you can be passionate about that's just fun. Number 2, get outside of your own box. You know, sometimes, especially if you're in this season and you're feeling more depressed, that's one box you're in. Find ways to get out of your box. Get out of that feeling of, life is horrible. Because if you stay there, it can be. And I'm not going to say that there aren't times when life stinks. But if that's the box you're going to stay in, it will always stink. Another part of getting out of your box is do something different. You know, you hear about people making that bucket list. These are the things I want to do before I die. Or maybe just these are the things I want to do next year. These are just the things I want to do. Make that bucket list and do it. Do something off of it. Maybe it's I'm going to travel more. My passport, I lost it when I moved up here. So I picked up the forms from the post office a week or so ago to get my passport again. Now, I haven't filled it out yet, but the first step was at least going to get the papers, get the forms. So, because that's on my bucket list to do some traveling. So find something you want to do and then take steps to make it happen. And they may be baby steps. So I picked up the paper. I haven't filled it out, but I did pick it up and I've been saying it for a while. So Picking up the paper was a step. Now filling it out is the next step. But do something, begin to get out of the box of I'm going to do it, out of the box of depression, out of the box of I don't know what. So as you find your passion, let that take you to another box, or just be free where there doesn't have to be a box. Number 3, I have a list of 7. Number 3 is be present. Be in the moment. You know, it is so easy to think about what you don't have or what has happened in the past that is so horrible. What has happened in the past that has been emotionally damaging to you. I am not saying you just brush it off, but by the same token, can you get to a point where it's like it is the past? And be in the moment and enjoy the moment. Sometimes we can have good things going around us, but you're so caught up in the negative things that are real, but you're so caught in the negative things that it's hard to see the positive. Live in the moment. And sometimes the moment stinks. So you get to that next moment and hold on to that next moment that is so much better. Number 4, be gentle with yourself. It is so easy to be hard on yourself. Let's say you are having a hard time emotionally. Okay, then accept it. Do something about it. But don't beat yourself up because you're having a hard time emotionally. It's so easy to do that. I can't believe I'm depressed. I really don't have anything to be depressed about because my life is good and da-da-da-da. And I look at so-and-so and they've got all this going on and you're beating yourself up. Be real. If it is how you feel, it is how you feel. So embrace it so you can change it. But be gentle. And part of being gentle is practicing that self-care. We've talked about it in the past and we'll talk about it some more in the future. Do something good for yourself. What is it that brings you that bliss? And it's different for different people. So for me, I'm a water person. Now, I will admit, Galveston is not a beautiful beach. I've seen some pretty beaches. However, it is a beach, and when I sit on the little private beaches on the end of the island, the little pocket parks, and there's not a lot of people around, and as far as I can see is water, oh, that is my bliss. When I lived in Houston, I would just go to Galveston just to go sit. I can remember during that last year when I wasn't working every day on a job, I could drop my son off at school, drive to Galveston after I dropped him off, stay until it was time to come pick him up, and go home when I needed to decompress. I can remember doing that 3 or 4 times just to decompress. So that for me was my bliss, a way to just do something to be gentle and give myself what I need. And I live in Dallas now. It's landlocked. They have lakes. Not as much fun. I did find a new one this past weekend. It was nice. So someone said, oh, are you on a lake search? I would say, maybe I will do that because there's several in the area until I find one that's just like really great. But find something, when you're being gentle with yourself, find something that just makes you feel good. It doesn't have to be expensive. For me, the only cost was the gas to drive to get to the water. But find something. I was talking to someone and they were stressed out and they like getting a mani-pedi. I said, when was the last time you got one? I've been too busy, da-da-da. I said, oh, you're off today. They took the day off because they were totally stressed. So I'm like, I think that's a good time to go do it. So find those times to do something for yourself. Be gentle. Give yourself a break. Life is stressful. Number 5, give back. Volunteer. Do something for others. And we're talking about how you're finding that joy and how you're managing your mood. The holidays make it easy. This is a time where everyone is, wanting to volunteer, but not just now. Make it part of who you are. But if you are having a difficult time now, give back. Do something for someone else. Get outside of yourself. What can you do to say, it's not just about me? Now, that doesn't mean that you're going to totally ignore whatever is going on with you, but when you can get outside of yourself for a moment, it can also help you get a better perspective on everything that's going on with you. Not like, oh, they're worse off than me. No, it's just that you got away from everything that's going on with you, and you're able to step back and maybe have a more clear view of your situation because you backed away from it for a minute. Just give back. And it doesn't have to be anything complicated. It doesn't have to be anything formal. It can just be, maybe you're just going to go bake some cookies for somebody. Maybe you're just going to call someone. Or maybe you do want to go volunteer at a particular area. But give back. Get outside of yourself and do something for someone else. Number 6, smile and laugh as often as you can. I'm sure you've heard that it takes more muscles to frown than it does to smile. Whatever you're doing right now, take a moment to just smile. Just smile. How does that feel for you? How does your face feel when you just smile? Yes, I'm smiling. It feels good just to smile. So find reasons to smile and laugh. Even the Bible says a merry heart does it so well. When you just laugh, you will feel just a little better in the moment. Just laugh. So it's like nothing's funny in my life. Can't laugh right now. Go watch something funny. Earlier in the year, before I hurt my knee, I would go walking between clients. If I had a lot of clients, I would try to schedule in a 15-minute break. My goal was to do it twice a day, but I definitely did it once a day. And I would just go walking for 15 minutes. And some days I would turn on comedy, turn on a comedian and just laugh. Somebody said, when you smile, it feels like a facelift. And it does. Just smile. It's like, well, I don't have anything to smile about. Just smile. Just right now, stop and smile again. And you will find it does. It lifts your face. It lifts your mood. So listen to a comedian. Find somebody that makes you laugh. And just laugh out loud. Just laugh. In the face of everything going on, take a moment to laugh and lighten the burden that you may be feeling. And lastly on my list is surround yourself with positive people. You know, if everybody around you is being negative and saying everything that is bad, you know how you're going to feel? Bad, negative. There is a lot of negativity going on. I could sit here and probably find 100 things to say that are wrong, that are negative, that are bad. And they would all be true. But is that the only truth? What positive things can you think about? What can you put in your life that is going to be positive? That is what you need to do. Find the positive. There are things that are positive. There are things that are good. Find them and hold on to them. But that's why it comes with putting people in your life who are going to help you. If you are the negative one, people might start dropping off. But if you have your own circle of negativity, find a new circle. When we talked about getting out of the box, get out of that box. Philippians 4:8 says, finally, my brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if there is anything excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. Change your mindset. It can bring you joy. It can change your mood. You know, the goal, I think I forgot to mention, I did last week, that the goal was for these 2 weeks to end in 30 minutes. We'll go a few minutes over because I see it's 7:29. But I wanted to just remind you that as you look at this season, this time of year, first off, know that it may not feel good. It may remind you of all the things you're missing, all the people you're missing, all just the life you're missing because things have changed. And if that is the case and it's not feeling good, you're normal. If you are experiencing what we talked about in the very beginning, seasonal affective disorder, feeling sad, it's a perfect name for it. You are not alone. Other people have experienced it. That's why it has a name. If you want to change your mood and experience joy, take some control and find your purpose and passion. Get outside of your own box. Be present in the moment. Be gentle with yourself. Give back. Smile and laugh as often as you can. And surround yourself with positive people. Talk to God, be in his presence and say, hey, I need some of that joy, because it says the joy of the Lord is your strength. So find that joy. Find that peace that comes. But remember, joy is an attitude of the heart. It's internal. It is not based on external circumstances. So find that joy. As I said in the beginning, this is the last Thinking Thursday of the year. The last 2 Thursdays are around Christmas Eve, so close to Christmas and New Year's that it just wouldn't be feasible to, have them. And next Thursday, I will be traveling. So this is it for the year. It has been a joy and a pleasure being with you every Thursday, pretty much every Thursday this year, except for maybe 3 or 4. Next year, we're looking for bigger and better things and hope to grow. So I hope you have as much of a stress-free holiday as you can. May your mental health and your mood be better and better every day. And remember to be gentle with yourself. You deserve it. Love yourself. Thank God for making you you. And as I like to say, you are the only gift God gave you that he didn't give anybody else. Think about that. So thanks for joining, and I will always remind you before I leave, it's the end of the year, I want to always say, be an educated voter. It will impact your mental, physical, spiritual, financial, every kind of health you have. So thank you for joining me, and I will see you next year, 7 o'clock on Thursday. Bye now.